we have full team coverage from Kharkiv, Ukraine to Anchorage, which is where we start tonight with Garrett Haig.
Tonight, President Trump in the final countdown to Friday's high-stakes summit with Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
We have a big meeting, and it's going to be, I think, very important for Russia, and it's going to be very important for us.
The president lowering expectations for Ukraine's ceasefire breakthrough during the talks tomorrow, but suggesting broader negotiations for peace could begin soon after.
All I want to do is set the table for the next meeting, which should happen shortly. I'd like to see it actually happen maybe in Alaska, where we just stay because it's so much easier.
The Friday summit will be held on a U.S. military base just outside of Anchorage, marking Putin's first steps on U.S. soil since attending the UN General Assembly in 2015. The White House says the afternoon will include a private meeting between the two presidents, then a lunch with their larger teams, followed by a press conference. It's not yet clear if both presidents will take questions. Ukraine's President Zelensky will not attend, but President Trump affirming today he hopes to involve him quickly afterwards.
We're going to have a meeting with President Putin, President Zelensky, myself, and maybe we'll bring some of the European leaders along, maybe not. I think President Putin will make peace. I think President Zelensky will make peace.
Zelensky returning to Ukraine today from London after a series of meetings with European leaders, including the British Prime Minister. Putin meeting with his advisors in Moscow today, praising what he called the, quote, quite energetic and sincere American efforts to end the war. Presidents Trump and Putin have spoken several times by phone this year, but haven't met in person since 2019. At a 2018 summit in Helsinki, Finland, the two met for more than 2 hours behind closed doors. President Trump pressed about U.S. intelligence agencies' assessment of Russian meddling in the 2016 election, criticized later for seeming to accept Putin's denials.
They said they think it's Russia. I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be.
Alaskans we met say they're paying close attention to this summit. After all, for them, Russia is no far-off threat. At its closest point, just 55 miles across the Bering Strait, far closer than the rest of the United States.
Honestly, seems like he has a pretty decent expectation of the relationship that they have leader to leader.
I'm not a Trump voter, but that doesn't mean that I'm not rooting to see the Death Star. You got to root for him.
And Garrett joins us now live here in Anchorage. Garrett, Ukraine and its European allies are on the outside looking in, and tonight there are real worries.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. They've long been concerned that the president would make concessions to Russia that they couldn't stomach. But 5 sources say the president has told European leaders he at least won't discuss possible divisions of territory in this meeting tomorrow.
All right, Garrett, hey, great to have you here in Anchorage. The stakes of the Trump-Putin meeting couldn't be any higher for the people of Ukraine, who have lived through more than 3 years of war. Richard Engel tonight is there for us.
Sometimes what you find accidentally is the most revealing. Today on the outskirts of Kharkiv, we came across a funeral for a Ukrainian soldier killed in a recent Russian attack. They allowed us to film this painful, intimate moment, usually out of sight. Ukraine doesn't like to show its military losses. The soldier's mother grieved, barely able to stand. Her son, Andriy Reshetilov, only recently drafted and sent to the front lines, leaves behind 2 children. I wondered what these people think about a potential ceasefire. The soldier's older brother, Artem, also serving, agreed to speak for everyone.
How are you feeling about the war and peace talks and where all of this is going?
We don't have to compromise with the enemy and give up our beloved land because this enemy won't stop and will return even stronger, he said.
So even now, as your family is making the ultimate sacrifice, you think there should be no compromise, shouldn't give up any land in exchange for a ceasefire or some sort of peace deal?
Yes, he said, because we know Russia and they never keep agreements. The ceremony was over quickly, perhaps because there was a line.
And even as one funeral is wrapping up, another one is about to begin right next to where the last soldier was buried. Another body is going in.
All the graves marked with flags are for soldiers. Today we visited a Ukrainian drone base hidden in a garage. The unit's commander, Leonid Maslov, also has little confidence in President Trump's meeting with Putin.
I'm not optimistic. Putin is playing a very bad game. He will deceive Trump for sure. 100%. 100%. Trump will be deceived.
And Tom, Russian forces tonight remain on the offensive, trying to take as much land as possible before the summit.
Richard, our thanks to you. We want to head to Washington, D.C., where the Trump administration is expanding the presence of federal officers and National Guard troops around the city. Now, some protesters are pushing back. Here's Gabe Gutierrez.
At D.C. landmarks tonight, a growing number of National Guard troops. Across neighborhoods, federal officers not just patrolling, but executing warrants.
Crime is rampant in D.C. It's rampant in our generally blue-run cities, and they've got to do something about it.
The White House now says the National Guard operations have been expanded to 24/7, not just evening hours. For the Guard, at least, it appears aimed at a visual deterrent effect. The administration looking to make examples out of suspects after video of a man throwing a sandwich at a federal officer, then running away, went viral. He's now charged with felony assault. The Attorney General says he worked at the Justice Department and he's fired. Today, D.C.'s police chief issued an executive order allowing local officers to notify federal ICE agents about undocumented immigrants they encounter, including during traffic stops. A major change in a blue city.
That's a great step if they're doing that. Yeah, I think that's going to happen all over the country.
The Trump administration now very publicly taking on cities led by Democrats. Today in Los Angeles, federal agents conducted an immigration enforcement operation outside an event held by California Governor Gavin Newsom.
Well, don't mess with the great Golden State.
Well, back in Washington overnight, more than 100 protesters heckled local and federal officers and set up a checkpoint. President Trump says he plans to federalize the district's police department beyond 30 days. Are you concerned at all that some federal officers that are helping D.C. police might be being pulled away from other high-priority assignments?
Like what? Like what?
Terrorism, for example.
Really? Terrorism? They'll stop terrorism as part of what they're doing right now.
Among D.C. residents, reaction is mixed.
They are the goons of an openly fascist, openly violent regime.
Others, like longtime community activist Leroy Thorpe, welcome the help. So when you heard the Trump administration was going to take over the police department, you thought what?
I loved it. It's not about politics, man. It's about law and order. The city's not a law and order. The feds don't play around. The criminals know that.
And Gabe joins us now live from Washington's Union Station. Gabe, we can see that military presence you're talking about just behind you. I understand you have some new reporting about those checkpoints?
Yes, Tom. In addition to these National Guard Humvees, a senior law enforcement official tells NBC News to expect more checkpoints across D.C. tonight, set up by local police and federal officers. The official also tells us that more federal agents are coming in from across the country to beef up these shifts. Tom?
Gabe Gutierrez out there on the streets of Washington tonight.